What is up, Guerrilla Nation, and welcome back to another Division 2 build video. But if you would be so kind, please show some love to that like button. Also, smash that sub button if you happen to be new to the channel. And don't forget to reach up there, trigger that bell, and turn on post notifications, so that way you never miss a live stream or a video that is uploaded. Well, first I'm going to send you over to a few clips and also show you a little damage with the range, and then we'll hop into the build. So I'll see you guys and gals back here in just a moment. Alright, I can see it's a concept build. I wanted something different from what everybody else is using. It's either the Pestilence, True Patriot, and I must admit, yes, I am using the M1A because right now, as far as when it comes to archetype weapons, it is basically the best weapon to use outside of more or less an LMG Pestilence build. But, you know, that is why I went with this route, and not too many people are utilizing these talents together. So here it is. Yes, I'm running double M1As with Lucky Shot, and that is primarily because I have complete and utter potato aim. So the first one is 501.1k base, 15 rifle damage, 16 critical hit damage with 5% damage to armor. This is by far the best one. And perfect lucky shot is increased by 30%. Missed shots from cover have a 100% chance to return to the magazine. So if I'm in cover and I'm shooting, and when I tend to miss, well, when I usually miss a lot, if you haven't noticed in those clips, then those bullets are returned to the magazine. Now, my other one, 15% critical hit, no, 14% critical hit damage, same 15% rifle damage, but this one has 10% headshot damage. It gave me a really mediocre roll as far as when it came to rifle damage, so I figured adding another 9% rifle damage here was best, instead of having, some damage to armor out of cover. So once I find one of the same lines as this one, then I will definitely be upgrading this secondary one. Alright, we have two Sokolov pieces, and no, I'm not using SMG, but two pieces do give you 15% crit damage, and they also have an offensive mod slot, and once I get better pieces, then I will absolutely substitute these in, because as you can see, I do have max crit damage roll on this one as an attribute, but 9.4 weapon damage, but it's the best one I have thus far. And then in the offensive mod slot, 10.5% critical hit damage. On the chest piece, same, only 9% critical hit damage, so there is definitely room for improvement. 5.5% critical hit chance, 5.4% critical hit chance in the offensive mod slot, and then only 8.8 weapon damage in the main attribute. As far as, yes, it is about 6.2% off, so once I find better pieces, with the crit damage, crit chance, then definitely I'm going to be up there around 530, 540 K weapon damage easily. And I'm utilizing Gunslinger, thus the double M1As. Weapon swapping increases total weapon damage by 20% for 5 seconds. This buff is lost for 5 seconds if you weapon swap while it is active. So as you've seen in the clips, you can fire off 4 or 5 shots, and then all you have to do is swap to the secondary M1A, and then you still get that 20% damage boost. You shoot off 5 rounds, and since you have 12 in the magazine, then all you do is switch back, and you still have 7 shots to keep getting that 20% extra damage. And of course, I'm utilizing Composure on my backpack, and that is while in cover, you increase your weapon damage by 15%. So since you're going to be shooting in cover anyways, the talent Perfect Lucky Shot synergizes well with the Composure, and since you're utilizing an M1A and also with these two talents that more or less require you to be in cover, it all synergizes really well. The only thing I'm looking for, and I almost hit this nail right on the head, this is almost a god rolled backpack. It already has 15% weapon damage on it, max crit chance at 6%, and then it had only 8.7% critical hit damage, but I was okay with that. But it had, I believe, combined arms on it, and that is completely useless with this particular archetype build. And I wanted to go with Composure. Now, if this piece already had Composure on that, then I would be able to take that utility mod slot that you see here, where I put just 10.1% skill haste in, and change that into an offensive mod slot. So that in turn would give me another 10 to 14% extra crit damage. I think the biggest mod I have as far as with crit damage on it is 11, so at least a 11% extra critical hit damage. And so once I find that golden goose, that unicorn, a diamond in the rough, then definitely I will switch out these pieces. Now you're probably wondering, well, why don't you just use a different piece here other than the Grupo Sombra? I'm glad you thought of that. Well, since I'm utilizing the Contractor's Gloves, and of course, I'm utilizing the Fox's Prayer knee pads, this particular piece here, which is the Seska, it has a utility mod slot if you put it in the backpack, the mask, or the chest piece. Also, with the Seska, also has that utility mod slot too, so no matter which way I go, since I'm utilizing the Petrov Contractor Gloves and the Overlord knee pads, I'm having to find that perfect diamond in the rough in order to put that here. I mean, I know it exists. I got so close in order to get it, but if I switch these out to no matter what it is, I'm still going to be stuck with that utility mod slot, so that is why. But before I forgot to hop into it, if you want to switch over to your pistol, which also will proc the Composure and the Gunslinger, my sidearm is already at 204.2k, 14% pistol damage, and 6% crit chance. It's the Mozambique. But moving on about those Petrov gloves, this one has 12.8% weapon damage, 11% damage to armor, and then 12% critical hit damage. Now those Fox's Prayer knee pads, I have 13% weapon damage on those, and 15% damage to targets out of cover, and 5.3% critical hit chance. Now, the final piece here is that Seska holster, 13.6% weapon damage, 10% critical hit damage, and then 5% critical hit chance. So once I find that better piece, then definitely will be min-maxing these pieces and having this build on hold. It's a lot of fun to use, and plus it helps me get better at my potato aim. But it is definitely something different, and just goes to show you there are other viable builds out there. You just have to do a little thinking and put your mind to work, and then go out there and find the pieces. But you can say you can get Intimidate. Intimidate will give you 35% weapon damage, the exact same as I'm getting from those two talents. But in order to proc Intimidate, you have to get those procs of bonus armor. In turn, you started off with using, Gunner, and then you have to back it up with Bloodsucker, or just be in a group with somebody using the exotic chest piece or point guard and running a shield. So this is easiest, since you're going to be in cover anyways, and you have to swap weapons, so this is what I more or less came up with. And more or less, the Reviver Hive, and then for a little bit of heal while I'm sitting in cover, you can use the Survivalist and get the Pokey heal, but I utilize the Gunner, so that way when I do get those kills, I get a little bit of armor back. I know it's not much, but also since I'm going to be sitting still and in cover, and once you're utilizing Gunner, by sitting motionless for at least a brief moment, you gain all that additional weapon handling, and I need all the help I can get with my potato aim. So now let's go into the character sheet itself. 56.4% critical hit chance, 133.2 crit damage, 60% headshot damage, 16% total armor damage, and the other one, as you can see, I get that 10% additional headshot damage, whereas the other one I'm getting damage to armor, so that is why there's a difference. There's the pistol. I'm maxed out at crit chance all day with 122% critical hit damage with 105 headshot damage, and of course that also 11% damage to armor. So if you really wanted to and you need to finish off somebody really quick and you don't want to take the time to reload or give them a chance or opportunity to heal up or apply an armor kit, then just go switch to your sidearm, and with it dealing that much damage and having composure and all that proc at the same time too, it is doing a lot of serious damage on its own. Back to the M1As, we'll keep cycling down through. 24.8% reload speed bonus, 2.4 second reload time, so you do get reloads really quick. We have a 73.2% all weapon damage bonus and 40% going to our rifle, for a total of 113.2% all weapon damage going to my rifle. And these are everything as follow. See, it's very minimal as far as the armor on kill that I get back from utilizing the Gunner, but every little bit helps, especially when you have no skill tier whatsoever. So even that little bit paired with my little healer drone, it does its job. And plus you can take down enemies super fast. 5% has protection, of course, is nothing to write home about. And that is the rest as followed. But thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, this is more or less just a concept build to more or less show you and demonstrate there are other viable options that you can use that still can be a lot of fun, and no, by no means is it the greatest in comparison, but I am utilizing the best in slot gloves and also the knee pads, and two very underused talents, and then combining all these brand sets together and to create a viable, great build. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate all the love and support. We'll see you fudging later.